Lisbon.
We are in Lisbon?
That's how the writing is Lisboa.
Lisboa. We're staying in this hotel for
Dom and
2 more nights until Kevin has to leave. And then we're going to stay in Lisbon for a week. So we're taking a Uber down to the, where are we going? To the
statue.
Walking tour? Statue?
Something statue.
There's a lot of walking tours today.
She's just told those people who are speaking English. What was the name of our company? I booked them.
I know. Look at all these people getting on. So you got to get on the stop before this.
I'm Latin. Tell me your names and where do you come from, so we all get to know each other like a happy family will be by the end. Then I'll present myself, but I was born and raised in the second biggest city called Porto. I don't know if you ever heard about it. If you've been, very pretty city. Do go there. The weather is pretty much like this and rainy all year round, but that's the only dark part. Still worth a visit. I studied there. I studied corporate communications, marketing, and finance. The man that's standing right over there in the statue. Have you ever heard about Luís de Camões? So Camões was a Portuguese poet, and he's very well known because he was the man who invented Portuguese written language. He picked up the Portuguese slang from the street, put it on words, and wrote the Lusíadas. The Lusíadas, it's a book about the Portuguese, mostly about our age of discoveries, so throughout the 1500s, how we were so great at that time, some love stories mixed in the middle, how we conquered more than half of the world, and then it stops. Not how we lost it all, just obviously the good parts of Portugal. So that's why we love that book. So this is the high neighborhood of Lisbon, also called Bairro Alto, and this is pretty much where the nightlife of Lisbon goes. It's a very fun part to be around, but not only that, also survived the earthquake that we had in 1755. So all of these neighborhoods, 5 centuries ago, used to belong to a very wealthy Jewish family. That Jewish family obviously got expelled throughout our Inquisition, so this place got pretty much deserted. And when this place got deserted, no one wanted to come here. It was very different from the rest of the city center. So the people who took advantage of this place were the sailors. You have the river very, very close to here, and people would come up here. They will build brothels, they would build bars. So this pretty much became the red light district. It was like that throughout a lot of years, even centuries. And only in the 1900s, the ending of the 19th century, starting of the 20th century, our government decided to change a little bit this area. Because again, so close to the city center, that was the most poshy area of the city. So this place could not be the red light district anymore. So they decided to open in here a lot of magazines and newspapers. They based them here, and you had a lot of artists, writers running around. You also had 2 acting schools, that one of them is still open nowadays. That man standing in that statue right there, his name is Luís de Camões, and he had a nickname of Chiado. Chiado is also the name of this place. He had that nickname because he used to drink and smoke a lot, so he had a very squeaky voice. And squeak in Portuguese is called chiado. So that's how he got the name. That's how the area got the name. But who was he, and why does he have a statue in the middle of our capital? Well, the story of the statue is that in 1925, the government decided to put in a lot of places in the city of Lisbon a lot of statues from poets and historians that no one knew about. So useless people that no one really cared about now have statues in the middle of Lisbon. And that's the exact point of this man. So this man right here, he was actually a monk. As you can see in the statue, he's all dressed up in a monk suit. He was a drunk monk. He was always drinking. One day, he decided he didn't want to be inside the church anymore. He wanted to come to the city of Lisbon to perform in the middle of the streets. What do I mean by perform? He would ask people for money. When people would give him money, he would improvise about the same person. That's how he spent the rest of his life, always wearing his mug suit, always drunk, and just performing so people could give him a little bit of money. And that's literally all that he did throughout his lifetime. And he has a statue in the middle of Lisbon. This statue belongs to Fernando Pessoa. Have you ever heard his name before? That's normal, because he was actually voted by Times Magazine the #1 author you have never heard about in the world. So that's most likely why. He was born in this exact house in 1888, and he was born on the 13th of June, which says a lot as well, because the 13th of June is the date of the patron saint of Lisbon. So we already knew that he was going to be big. He started to write professionally at only 16 years old to one of the biggest Portuguese magazines. His articles were some quite amazing. It was very, very amazing. He was very ahead of his time. He wrote a lot about the Portuguese mentality, not the past though. The Portuguese mentality focused a lot in the part of history that we were a great country, but he didn't. He focused on the future, how we could be a great country again. So people really liked him. And the only book that he published, called The Message, said exactly that. It was a message to Portuguese people, so we could believe in ourselves a little bit more, and we could be a great country and a great nation once again. Here represents the Tagus River, the river right behind me, and the one on the right represents...
Here's their bad king.
So guys, this monument right here is known as being the Carmel Convent. A convent is the biggest city, the biggest convent, the biggest church in the city, and this is exactly what this was. Nowadays it's an archaeological museum that also holds events. So it's nothing to do with religious anymore, because this convent got completely destroyed by the earthquake that we had in 1755. But the ruins were left here so we can remind ourselves of one of the darkest days in Lisbon history. So this earthquake, as I told you, happened in 1755. Which day? 1st of November. 1st of November is All Saints' Day, a religious holiday right after Halloween. And in All Saints' Day in Portugal, we have a tradition of lighting up candles for our loved ones that have already passed away and bring them to church. This was also throughout the Inquisition, so if people were not praying, they would pretty much get killed. So everyone was inside churches just lighting up those candles, and at 9:30 a.m. they start to feel the earth moving. So people were scared, some glasses fell down, and they did not know what was going on, but then it stopped. It stopped for a little while, and then it went on for 8 minutes in pieces.
Sardine asada.
Olive oil. Asada. Did you want it?
No, we ordered the same thing. Real old Portuguese.
So that's why
It's their food court and the market. The vegetable market is closed right now. Must be open only in the morning. This must be a politician running for office. Hello. What is this? Museum car. And here we are back at the hotel. Gonna take a break after a heavy lunch.